The music stopped. I think it's my cue.
The music
Welcome to
stop.
welcome to Full Spectrum, brought to you by Football.fun. I got my buddy here, my homie, my fellow host Render. It's me, Quigley.eth, bringing you the magic, the on-chain glory of Full Spectrum, where we talk about all things related to on-chain shenanigans. Doesn't matter what chain you're on, doesn't matter what you're doing, what you're building. We're probably going to want to talk to you at some point if you're doing cool shit. And then if you're not doing cool shit, we're going to tell you probably in a pretty explicit way at some point. But well, welcome into this Wednesday night. I've been doing a live space for 5 years, I think 4 or 5 years, every Wednesday night in this time slot. So this is a whole new world for me to be on camera. Normally, I've got my phone, I'm in the garage, I'm walking around. So somehow I'm going to stay in one spot, which is not easy for me. But that's the plan tonight. I will say though, we've had some family over tonight, and you might see people walking in behind me just because I'm literally in the middle of the basement here. So if that happens, my apologies ahead of time. But
Is
it's
it
real
your
life.
mom? You still live in mom's basement or
This is
what?
literally my mom's basement I'm in right now. I'm just kidding. It's not. This is my basement. But yeah, we're really excited to bring you our Wednesday nights stream. Is going to always be focused on a founder, someone who's building, who's doing cool stuff. Someone that we want to not just hear about what they're building, but kind of hear about the person behind it. We want to ask you questions about, what you're doing, how you got here, and then also kind of like, maybe we'll ask some tough questions. Maybe we'll ask you some uncomfortable things, but we want to continue to bring that for our audience because I think it's a higher. I think it's a good value that we can bring. When we talk to these projects and founders about what they're building. But I really just want to find out about Ibu. I met him in person. Just as a heads up, I met him in person on Chain Summit this year in San Francisco a few months ago at the OKX dinner. We all had a good time. I know he's been killing it with the Zora creator coins and Docker, but he's also got some other stuff he'll talk about tonight as well, I'm sure, at some point. But yeah, I'm excited to hop in and talk about that. But yeah, do we want to just before we bring him in, talk a little bit about football.fun? I mean, that's pretty exciting news for
Yeah,
us.
absolutely. Absolutely. We partnered with football.fun. They're our official sponsor for the month of November for Full Spectrum. And they just I was real pumped about it when we met them because I'm real into soccer, and
It's
that's
what they
kind of
call
how
football. They call
yeah,
football because they're
yeah. And
British.
so
Yeah.
so that's kind of how they were founded, was as a soccer DeFi trade platform. It's really unique. I'm hoping that here in the next few days we can actually go live and break down the actual app and the different things you can do. But they did announce today that they're fixing to add the NFL on November 4th.
That's the only
Which is
reason I agreed to do this. That's the only reason I agreed to do it. I was like, I don't know shit about soccer. I like my kids played it and stuff, and I like it. I don't mind. There's a team here in Kansas City. I'll go watch their games, but I don't know enough about the players, especially when it relates to like fantasy, style. I don't know enough about that. So, but NFL all day, man. Like I think you heard me talking to them about. I've been doing fantasy football for almost, I mean, at least 23 years. So we started with newspapers. I mean,
yeah,
like literally, like
you
newspapers.
get out of that, and you may get out of that basement someday.
Someday,
Yeah,
someday. No, I think I've won my league a couple of times, but I've always been, top, one of the top two or three people, and I love it. I love the NFL, and I love, fantasy sports. I'm a big Chiefs fan, so you're going to hear about that, I'm sure, on some of our streams. But yeah, I'm excited to do the on-chain, pack ripping, talk about the app, get people excited about.
yeah, that's that, and that's the cool thing about it. I'm not even sure. Uh, I'm not even sure what do you call the app? A mix between fantasy sports, prediction markets, and
Yeah,
you know, uh, sports collectibles.
yeah, it's a really cool spot. Yeah, I collected cards as a kid, and I've got a whole shelf in my garage full of all my cards still that I've kept with me, and um, so I'm excited to like start ripping some packs and seeing what we get, and we'll talk more about that, I think, over the next few weeks. But I think it's a cool announcement for us. We're just getting started with the streaming aspect of what we've been doing. I think it's great to have some sponsors early on, and we're looking forward to building relationships with other folks that want to jump on board. And that allow us the freedom to talk, because that was a big thing for Render and I when we came up with this sort of plan to do these streams. We knew that sometimes, just having like individual projects come in and, want to talk about what they're doing, it's challenging, because if they're paying to be there, it's like, how do you even criticize or talk to them about what they're building? Versus if you can have someone that can step up and sponsor your conversations indefinitely, and you can have a little more flexibility and freedom to just speak your mind. I think it makes for a much better stream, and I've excited to see how that goes.
Well, we're fixing to find out, because Ibu does not know what he just stepped into.
No, he'll be good. He'll be good. We're going to talk to you about all kinds of stuff. So yeah, let's do that, man. Let's bring him in, and kind of kick this interview off. And just, I think, Renner, do you have questions actually lined up? Have you had some time to work
yeah. I mean, I did some diving into Docker today and into Ibu, watched some of his previous interviews, but yeah, and then I started looking at some other questions.
Here we go.
Yeah, I want to find out some where he really came from and what got him into creating.
I need to know the make and model of his first car. I mean, make sure.
Yeah, and I mean, like, my list of questions is mother's maiden name, what street did you grow up on, deep dive personal stuff.
Yeah, we need to know all that so we can make sure we get the full story for sure.
Yeah.
Let's bring on the legend himself.
Let's do it.
Kick this thing off.
What's up, guys?
What's happening, man? Welcome to Full Spectrum. Where you're gonna get some great conversation from Render, but he's also probably gonna ask you a few tough ones. So I hope you're ready for that.
Yeah, is this the full spectrum of mental illness or sexuality?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what it is.
Originally Render wanted to call the show On the Spectrum, and I was like, dude, I think that's a little bit too much, man.
I mean, I know a lot of crypto people are like slightly autistic, but
yes, I absolutely am 100%.
Which is fine, but maybe you don't want to put it right in front of them, like.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, guys, I'm just kidding around. Yeah, happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, just excited to have you on. Our first guest, when we talked about, Render and I had a lot of conversations around sort of like, who do we want to bring in, and kind of where's the direction we want to go in. And just, our plan here is to bring people from all over the place, all different chains, all different types of products, just looking for people that we feel are, that can bring a good conversation around what they're doing. And, obviously we decided, just so also up front, Render and I had a lot of conversations about creator coins and Zora. And it was actually pretty big deal that he agreed to say, okay, fuck it, let's do it on Zora, because he's not been a huge fan of creator coins. Like, he's been questioning some of that. So tonight is a great opportunity, I think, for us not only to hear about Ibu and like your what brought you here, but also like hopefully towards the end of the stream we can kind of jump into like some back and forth about creator coins and what we've seen, some good and bad things. I mean, we've seen it all already just in our short sort of stint here with Full Spectrum, but looking forward to having that talk. But I don't know, Render, you want to start the interview off, or you want me to kind of?
Yeah, I mean, what, Ibu, why don't you just tell us who you are and what you do, and then we'll start asking some questions.
Sure. So I'm Ibu Karel, co-founder of Docker on Zora, and also CMO of Folks Finance. Docker is a growth engine for creator capital markets. We invest in other creators through their creator coins. We help them grow. We try to push the conversation forward. We try to amplify the whole entire CCM concept, especially on Zora. And then with Folks Finance, it's a cross-chain lending protocol that's live on Base amongst, I think, like 7 or 8 different chains. And yeah, unlocks a lot of, kind of fixes some of the liquidity fragmentation things in DeFi. Happy to talk about both.
Sure.
But yeah, those are the two things that I do.
Yeah, so let's start let's go way back. So I watched some of your interviews today. To be honest with you, I don't know much about you. So I went and watched some of your interviews, and there was a lot of talk about you being a creator in the beginning, and that's kind of how you got into things. So go back all the way, like as far as you can go, as far as what made you want to be a creator of any kind. Like, were you an artist as a kid? Was your family artists? Like what bred that creative side, and where did it come from back then?
Yeah. I love that question. So yeah, I grew up like my parents were both, they had creativity in them, but they didn't end up pursuing it in their careers. But my mom like was very into music. She played piano and would sing, like used to be in choirs and stuff when she was younger. And then my dad was a really talented illustrator. Like he used to do sketches, drawings, and stuff like that. Actually very good. And they both ended up going into more traditional, career paths that didn't have to do with their artistic skills. But growing up, they really, I feel super fortunate. They allowed me to try a bunch of different things, including a lot of creative ventures. So I started my first kind of creative thing was I started playing violin when I was 4. I played it for 10 years. And then when I was 14, I started singing. And I studied singing for 8 years. I also played guitar. I can play piano, produce music. So a lot of my creative background comes in music. But then when I was a teenager, I started to go and explore on things, doing things on stage. Excuse me. So like operas, musicals, that was like my bag that I was going into. And then I actually studied that in college as well. And in college, I also started producing music, dropping albums, and trying to make music videos and stuff, and producing songs, writing songs. So yeah, like before COVID hit, like I wanted to be a solo musician. Like that's what I wanted to do. So everything I was doing was focused on that. I was grinding super heavy on music. I lived in New York, so I was, trying to like be in the scene there, mixing around. But then COVID hit, and that was kind of when everything just got put in a blender. Especially with music, like a lot of the opportunities closed for like 2 years. You couldn't do many live shows, stuff like that, meet and greets, pop-ups and stuff. It's just it was totally different. And that was the time period that I got into crypto, because at that time it was like music drops, but crypto popularity like rose so heavily. So I kind of like was part of that cohort.
Gotcha. I had
the same thing happened to me during COVID. Like I think we all we all got stuck inside and started buying NFTs. That's kind of what happened to me.
Yeah. Well, I was going to go all the way back to similar to you. My dad was a musician, and my mom was the illustrator. But they back then, that's a cool thing. That's a cool thing about all these options we have now, with creator coins or with whatever. Artists have a lot of possibility to make a living off art now that they didn't have back then. We didn't have the internet, it seems like in the 80s and 90s, early 80s, when I was a kid, it seemed like everybody played guitar. Everybody's uncle played guitar. Everybody's dad played guitar, but you didn't have people, and I knew a lot of artists, but they just didn't have outlets, like, because it wasn't instantly available. You didn't have social media profiles. You didn't have all that stuff. So that's pretty cool. So when you got to, when the art thing or when the music thing kind of was winding down in COVID, like, did you just kind of decide, hey, I'm going to go head first into this crypto thing, and music's just going to be on the back burner? Like, I don't even know how to explain that. Cause like, I'm kind of the same. Like, so I never pursued a musical career, even though I play guitar, I play cello, I play, I'm a musician as well. And I always looked at it like, I don't want to hurt my own music by trying to make a profession out of it. So I
Mhm.
never did, because it was just something I enjoyed doing for myself. And so,
Mhm.
um, so did you kind of just leave it like that? Like you'll always be a musician, you always play music, and you always do those things, but right now it's just headfirst into crypto, or what?
So I always also like I've always been a person that I loved the arts, and I also love technology as well. Like I always was really into technology growing up, like very much of a futurist type of person where I'm very fascinated by like what the cool things in the future could be, and those were always like super exciting to me. Big gamer as well, like always loved games, and not just playing them, but like I was super into the industry of gaming as well growing up, and I would follow all the stuff that was happening. And so I would like I saw the gaming industry evolve from what it was in the early 2000s to what it is now, which was an
I
insane
think we
change.
saw it evolve from Atari.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I missed like the first 2/3 of it so far, but even still,
Yeah.
like the difference between Xbox, uh, like a PS2 and Xbox, what was it, like the original Xbox back then, to like now, and is crazy in terms of the technology that is available and what people could do, and that was always really interesting to me. So I always liked tech, and I always like science and math as well, along with the arts. Um, in college, right before COVID hit, I decided to take my first ever business class. It was like a business 101 or something like that, elective. That kind of gave me an idea of like that first morsel of how that kind of entrepreneurial side of things, which I was always very curious about. And then when COVID hit, I just started to research stocks a lot because I felt I wasn't going to make enough money in the job I was working during COVID to really like, make a difference in my life. So I first started doing stocks a bit, but then went quickly into crypto with actually one of the co-founders of Docker was the guy who originally got me into crypto like 5 years ago. And basically for a year I studied, like really went deep on Bitcoin, ETH, the alts, the alt L1s, and all this different stuff. So by the time May 2021 rolls around, excuse me, I've already been studying crypto for a year, and music. I still wanted to do music, but it just, I don't know, like I couldn't find a way to break through. Like I was trying, I just couldn't figure it out. So one time I just make a video, like a crypto TikTok, and I throw it up. It does great. And so I felt like, oh, okay, I put 50% effort into this video, but I'm putting 95% effort or 100% effort into music. But the video's getting, it just feels like it's already taking off, and I don't even know what I'm doing at all. Whereas with music, I'm busting my ass meticulously for every detail, but I can't make any, like, no one cares, right? So that I just felt I have to follow this thing because this is what the universe is indicating is working. Like, and it's not that I don't like it, so let me just like go with it. And because I had been on stage before doing stuff like that, it was pretty comfortable for me to get on camera and like be a doxed individual in crypto from the start. So the transition felt pretty smooth in that way. Then when I started to get my first couple job, like my first job in crypto was community manager of like a project, which was pretty niche at the time. It was a very small job, but I just kind of ran with it. And I was like, okay, I'm going to get into crypto. Hopefully I can make enough money to come back, and then I'll do music and I won't have to worry about the money anymore. And I won't have to be like a starving artist. And maybe I will still do that, but it's been a long time. So, and honestly, like, yeah, just getting into crypto brought me in a direction that it's impossible to foresee, but it's been amazing. So yeah, sometimes basically the point of my little anecdote there is that sometimes we think we're destined for something, or we think we should be doing something, but actually the world has other plans, things that we might even be better at that we didn't even know. And if you feel that like that wind, that when I posted those first couple videos, I felt, oh, this is definitely like has a lot more traction than I expected. Right. You should follow it. And that feeling when I posted those first couple vids, when we started Docker in the first week and it was getting crazy, just people were super hyped and into it, that I felt the same way. I was like, this is definitely going to be way bigger than we think it could be.
Well, I think part of that too is just like supply and demand. To be honest, like part of it is, musicians. I mean, I have nothing but respect for people that can play instruments, at a high level. And I tried playing a little bit of bass guitar when I was in high school for a band, but otherwise, not a talented musician whatsoever. But I have a lot of respect for that. But at the same time, the demand there is different, right? Like it's a lot harder to make music and become successful with it because there's just so many musicians and there's just so many levels to it. But the demand for content in the crypto world, I mean, let's just be honest. Let's be real talk, right? Like there's not a lot of good content out here. Like we're still struggling to put out high quality content. We're still it's actually ironic because my wife actually sent me a video today and I forgot what cartoon it is, but there's like a cartoon for kids where they explain Bitcoin. And she's like, okay, now I finally understand it. Because it was like, that's how simple. And like, if we can make content that actually like reaches people, like the demand is there. I mean, people will get it, but it's a challenge. But I'm not surprised someone like yourself that's comfortable, on stage, comfortable in front of people, performing, would just naturally kind of fit into that content creator role. And then you were able to, so this is what I want to ask questions around, since you brought up 2021 and kind of COVID. And I imagine since we were all in that same boat, were you deeply affected by GameStop and like Doge? Were those things that kind of really drew you into crypto, or were you always a crypto curious person? Like, I'm just wondering, like, when did you get your first wallet, and like, how did you start actually getting into crypto?
Yeah, I joined before like maybe 6-7 months before GameStop and meme stock mania. So I was still really new when they happened, but I didn't get in through them. I got in through, like I downloaded Robinhood and bought my first stock. I think it was literally like maybe the day before the Pico bottom of the COVID crash, but I had no idea like about any of that at all. I bought Snapchat stock. I bought one share. It was like $10. And then like a week later, it was $12 or something. And I sold, and I was like, yes, I'm already like winning. I'm already doing well. It ended up going to $70 like a couple months later. So, I had no idea what I was doing. I was trying to fuck around on Robinhood, buy stocks, get options, whatever. I was working at a restaurant and I was living, with my family in New York. So I barely had any expenses. Most of my money, I would just throw it right into the markets and just try to make something of it. And most of it was lost. But then like that was in March. And then a couple months later, like I said, my friend, he had been into Bitcoin since at least a year or two before, and just trading it and was interested in it. So he kind of got me to get Coinbase, buy a little bit of, I don't know, this or that. And then maybe a couple months later, he got me onto trading leverage and perps. So I started to learn like, real quick, like the trial by fire way. And that was also very educational because you get exposure to a lot of different assets. I mean, back then there really weren't that many compared to now, but there was still probably 40, 50 coins you could trade on Femex, which was the exchange we were using. Leveraging, not knowing what the fuck we were doing, trying to throw money at things and see if it would stick. And I think that was like super educational. So that's how I got my start.
And did your coming from a creative background and having parents that do that, how did they feel about you switching from music to this whole crypto field?
My parents, I have to be really grateful because they've always been super supportive of the things that I want to try to do. Whether it was music, and before I wanted to go like a solo musician, songwriter, producer, I wanted to do opera, and they supported that. And before that, I wanted to be a soccer player, and they were supporting that, which, and then when I started to do crypto, I think they were probably more skeptical than the others because the other three things I mentioned are a bit more, definitely more established, and like you can kind of chart out a path there a bit. But at the same time, like so my page was called Algo HQ, and it was for Algorand specifically. Like that's how I started. It was like educational content for that chain, and that really worked because the community of that chain was very academic, so they appreciated more educational rather than price action type of discussion. Sure. And I think when that started to catch on and I showed my parents, they didn't know anything about it, but they supported it because they were like, oh, it's working. Like, you know, he's got something, he got a little rinky dink job from it at least. So something's got to be working out here a bit. Sure. And yeah, they trusted me. So yeah. And over the years, they've gotten to understand the crypto industry more. But to be honest, I still think they haven't even bought a single cent of crypto at all. No Bitcoin, no ETH, like nothing. Even though they could have bought everything at ridiculous prices 5 years ago. I mean, right. Now.
Yeah, there's still a little bit of a difficulty, I think. I mean, I have trouble getting my mom to use her iPhone, you know, sometimes. So, I mean, there's a gap. I was just having that conversation tonight with a couple of people, and it was like, they're like, I don't understand crypto. And I try to give them the old, well, you don't understand how Bluetooth works. You don't understand how Wi-Fi works, but you use it all the time. So don't worry about it. Like I try to give them that whole spiel, but they're just kind of like, oh, okay.
So, I know you try, but it's tough.
It's tough.
My friend is saying, check the chat.
Oh shit. Yeah, I was telling the team earlier, I was like, we got to get better at looking at our chat. Which chat?
I'm asking which chat. I'm not actually sure. It might be on Zora, or are you streaming on Zora and Twitter?
Yeah.
Zora and Twitter.
I don't know. Like
Zora, he put it. It's Bearsky, one of the other co-founders of Docker.
Oh, what up, Bearsky? Legend. Let me see if I can find it here.
I think he bought Full Spectrum right before the stream.
Oh, smart move. You got a front run.
I think it's up. Huh?
Nice.
He took the absolute most like unflattering screenshot of me. You guys will see it on Twitter. Sorry, I derailed the flow, but
oh no, it's good because we do need to be better about checking these chats, dude.
Yeah, we're this streaming stuff is new for us. We've done Twitter Spaces for years, and so this whole live thing is.
Wow, what a cultured young man! Shout out.
But yeah, like so you know, I saw interview today that I was looking at, and so you got into crypto, you went to Folk Finance, and then you started Docker.
Yeah, but that was like 3.5 years later.
Yeah. So I'm gonna fast forward and go to Docker here. And so I'm gonna throw this up. Explain Docker to me. Tell me what Docker is.
So Docker, we say it's a growth engine for creator capital markets, and that might be, some people might say, oh, that doesn't mean anything, but it actually does mean something, because I think Docker is something that it could have only been started and can only exist today with the modern things that we have. It's just something that is a combination of many things that were different that you really couldn't qualify before. So it is a growth engine for creator capital markets. What we do is we help grow the whole concept of creator capital markets. We believe that CCM, and especially Zora, is by far the best instance of CCM so far, and probably will be for a decent period of time, because I don't really see any major or even relevant competitors to Zora. So let's just say, like, we think Zora is the best platform for this new idea of creator capital markets, which is essentially financialize everything on social media to the point where it doesn't mean anything anymore for everything to be coined or have a value, but therefore it reveals the market value of everything. on social media, posts and the creators. And that just gives a transparent value to the shit that we were already being exposed to all day, which is a post that goes viral, a creator that's doing numbers, dominating the timeline, or doing other stuff like that. We saw, or we basically felt earlier this year that that whole concept was being slept on by everybody pretty much. And if Zora, and also like Zora had just gone on a big pump, in late July. And so we started Docker in early August. That was when Bearski was like, oh, I just made a big trade on Docker. We should invest in the creators. And that made that, after like a couple of days of thinking about it, it made a lot of sense to me. I was like, yeah, it does make sense to put a lot of make a big bet on this creator economy, because there really doesn't seem to be anything that's like it can only get better from here. I mean, I can describe it in a bunch of ways, but it really could only get better from that point. The model of Zora we felt was intelligent and correct, like the economic model. The app was good. The team is good. And so we put together some money, like $40K, and we decided to just start throwing it at the creator coins on Zora. And no one really was doing that at that time. Like, no one had really taken that leap to be the most bullish people on CCM or Zora. Definitely on Zora. I mean, you could say Jesse or maybe the founders of Zora themselves, but beyond them, like, I think Docker came in and was just started to be insanely bullish on everything CCM and had an effect on like hyping people up. And I think people were like, damn, if these guys are, they're investing heavily, publicly doxed, they're like really believe in this shit, which we do. I think it also gave people a bit of confidence to kind of like get the momentum going. And then it kind of just went on in a whole journey, right? Like up until this point. And I think the development of Zora and CCM from like early August to now, it's only been 3 months, but it feels like it's grown like what other industries would grow in like a year or two, just like in terms of the development. So we invest in the creators, we help them grow. We try to push the conversation forward. We try to push the ideas forward. We try to onboard people. And yeah, we're literally just trying to make this entire idea grow because we think it can get way bigger than it is right now.
So let's break some of that down. So you started with the beginning part of the pitch there was it brings a value to all these posts, all this content. It actually puts a number on this content, puts a number on these viral posts. Who gives a fuck? Like, why do I care what a post is worth? Why do I care what somebody's tweet is worth? Why do I care at all about that? Tell me why financializing that makes any sense.
So if you're a creator that's on any platform already, like let's just say the big three, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and you're trying to make a career out of that, or you're trying to make it into at least a side hustle or something, you're gonna put together some. If a brand hits you up or you're trying to apply for some creator program, you're going to have to show metrics like my video has 100,000 views, 30,000 likes, 20 fucking saves, 400 comments, whatever, right? Mm-hmm. Those are all numbers. They add up to a value, but you don't actually know the value. But the platform will know the value. TikTok knows the value of all those numbers. They literally will feed it into an equation and they could give you technically a precise, like, yeah, that post was worth $40, right? $50 of sponsorship or whatever. The numbers are already there. They're just hidden. So you might as well just bring them to the forefront. And that unlocks like an entirely new idea of how people would interact with the platform once they know the actual market value of a post or a creator. The market will always, over time, find the fair value of everything. Things might pump, things might dump, but over enough time, every post, every creator on Zora will be valued at its fair value, that or what the market perceives the value to be. Whether an individual agrees with that valuation or not is their own choice, but they can also directly impact it by buying or selling that thing. So everybody on the platform gets their chance to impact the value of anything else, which I think makes for a much more fun social experience, like in a way, especially for someone, I would say in a biased way like myself, who I enjoy crypto, I enjoy trading, I enjoy like the financial aspect. Those feel fine to me, so I don't mind it. For a normie,
let me ask.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just because you said some things in there, and I don't mean to cut you off. I'm
no,
thinking.
go ahead. I'm definitely
Just keep in mind, like Render and I come from different directions on this. So he's an artist. He's a creator. You know, he's a person who's thinking about this, you know, naturally from the perspective of if I'm putting stuff on chain, like what, you know, but he also knows the other side of this, the story, which I kind of have a little more of a perspective from my side of, you know, for better or for worse, I get labeled as a KOL or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so to what you're describing, and I've seen you on the timeline bring this up, and I think it's really interesting. You've mentioned that basically the Zora Creator Coin sort of concept is going to destroy the existing, you know, KOL, you know, stuff that we deal with, right, as an industry. And so I feel like what you're saying is kind of describing that, like essentially, like if I'm a KOL and I'm trying to show you, hey, look, here's the impact I can have, here's my motion. I mean, what better than a chart? Like, hey, so for instance, if you're a token and you're trying to hire someone to promote your token, like, why would I hire the person that's chart is like, it's way down, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's an interesting perspective. I don't know if that kind of directly aligns with what you're describing, but that kind of makes sense to me. Like it is an opportunity for people to show that their ability to post or make content, you know, can be valued in a certain way. So it's an interesting way to look at it.
Yeah, just like thanks for bringing that up, because like I think it's really true. The volatility of a creator coin is accurate and pretty much directly correlated to the hype around that person's voice at any given time. The narrative of crypto moves extremely fast, as we all know, right? 1 week it's fucking creator coins, the next week it's X402, the week before it's the revival of NFTs and whatever. Like it's always fucking changing. I've noticed like this week, creator coin sentiment or creator coin buzz is down. My numbers on Twitter are down. When it comes back up, or when the fucking buzz comes back for whatever reason, I don't know, Zora pumps or some big announcement or whatever, I'm pretty sure my numbers will go back up, even if I said the exact same things that I'm saying this week, right? But that's just the nature of things. KOLs, in my opinion, a lot of them have been, I'm just going to keep it a buck, getting away with daylight robbery on projects because they're using their tweets from months or years ago that went viral to justify some ridiculous valuation of their content today. Whereas maybe if in that moment, if they're really dominating the conversation, they're worth that big price tag. But 2 weeks later, they might be out of the algorithm and no one's really paying as much attention to what they're saying because everything's moved on. Without a live valuation on that creator, they'll still be charging that price that they hit when they hit the peak. Even though their actual voice is down, they're still trying to maintain the peak. So giving a live value to each creator allows, from a brand perspective, it allows them to understand who is actually getting attention at any given time and partner with that person or invest in that person's coin in a way. And it's not always going to be perfect. People can pump their own coin and try to fake it, but most of the time it will balance out to be fairly valued. And, you know, like I've noticed also on Zora, when Docker is really hype and it's pumping, Zora's pumping, whatever, my personal page also does better. And when I post things on my personal page, just random pictures that don't have to do with Docker, just, I don't know, food or whatever, they also do better because people are just naturally paying attention to it. They want to ape it more, blah, blah, blah. But if it's in a slump period or like a quiet period, I don't get that. So that's like, you can give a live valuation to people. And also like this other idea is building off that idea. I want to hopefully kind of get to a point where, like, I imagine one thing we're doing with Docker is we're trying to imagine tools that creators can use, like creators can apply their creator coins or their content coins to really like improve the experience and put a lot more functionality into their content and creator coins. One of those things is like, if I'm a KOL, it would be cool to, and this is doable now, but like, let's say Quigley, like you have 50, 60K followers on X, right? You also have a creator coins like 100K. You could maybe say, okay, top four, if a brand holds over 1% of my token, I'm going to, then you can get a direct line of contact to me. If you hold over 2% of my token, I'm going to guarantee you one stream per week or one video per month about your product. If you hold 3, blah, 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 you know what I mean? So like there's new methods of partnering with creators now, which also the fans of you would benefit from that. If a new brand wants to partner with you and they've been your fan from before and they invest in your creator coin, instead of paying you like just directly, now your fans benefit from that too. So it creates like a cycle of prosperity in a way.
But doesn't this just overcomplicate things that are already in place? So for example, let's take Quigley, brands contact him every day. People contact him every day to do things for them, whatever. Now you're saying, yes, he can, have his creator coin. And if you hold so much, you get mentioned twice a week. Why add that layer of complication to content when they're already there? Unless it's just to reward the traders of that coin. And that's one of my biggest complaints about this whole system is, it's also one of my biggest complaints about tokens in general in crypto, when it comes to memes or almost any kind of token that's created is, and we'll just use memes for an example. Everybody wants to sit at the slot machine and get paid, but they don't want the casino to make any money at all. And so if you launch a token, heaven forbid that you launch a token and work on it for 6 months. If you sell $1 of your token, you get fudded into the ground, call a rugger, this, that. So why would any content creator at all want to come to this and be like, well, I'm just going to add this other layer of messiness into what I'm doing. And now I have all these holders who have quote unquote invested in me, and they're going to be making demands on what they want and what they don't want. And, that's like, so one thing I told Quigley, I said, look, let's do this. Let's create let's stream live on Zora. Let's create a token, a creator coin, and, see how they value our content. Okay. And see how that works. But let's not create a flywheel or a Ponzi or whatever you want to call it. Let's not create 900 things that have to happen, because if you have to do all that, we're never getting Web 2 people here. If they can come here and create their content and get paid for it or valued fairly, okay. But if they come here and they're just turned into, like, for me personally, it feels real dirty. Like I have a creator coin. I'm not going to mention it here. That's related to an art project, and it's got 40 or 50 pieces of hand-drawn art on it, and it's made like $12. The best post on there is worth like $9. And it's because I'm not doing anything to encourage that to be better. So my content is valued very low. So it's hard for me to justify, when people tell me, and you're not the first that says this truly values content. No, it doesn't. In my opinion, it doesn't value the content unless I go through 900 things extra there, unless I go create a flywheel, create a flaunch group, create create an app that pays back my holders, because they're all there just trying to extract money off what I create. You know what I mean? That's the problem with the trade part of it is not only do you, you may get a fairer value or an accurate value that Snapchat can get on their own, that somebody else can get on their own. You may get an accurate value, but in exchange, you're trading the fact that people are going to trade on your content. They're going to trade on your creativity. And with that comes a lot of demands and different things, that are hard to do. And so it's still, one thing I've always liked about crypto, and one thing that brought me into it, was the idea that decentralized finance in general puts everybody on a level playing field, because nobody controls it. No, you can come build what you want. It's permissionless. But if I can go to Zora and I can see that, let's go down to number 3. Let's go to Balaji. I'll pick on Balaji because everybody knows who he is. His coin's only at $3.8 million because he was the CTO of Coinbase and has done some other big stuff in the tech industry, because all he posts is actual just covers of books that he reads.
He hasn't posted in like 3 months or 4 at least.
Yeah. But if you take, like, if I can go here and look at this, he posted the cover of a book, and that post is worth $1,000.
Yeah.
But yet somebody else can go on here and create some beautiful piece of art that took them a week to create, post a great story about it, and they get no value at all because they're not Balaji. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
I just feel like it's an inaccurate valuation, because people are trading on Balaji's content, and that's why his coin's so valuable. That's why his posts are so valuable, is people are trading on that. You take away the ability to trade on that content, and I think that's the equalizer that makes the content fair. So I don't know. That's just, I have a hard time justifying it in my brain.
Just a quick side note on that. Like, I feel like that same problem exists on legacy social media platforms. I feel like, or not the same problem, but a similar thing, where people that we don't necessarily, that we shouldn't be following or like listening to, get propped up and have bigger platforms because of who they were or what they've done in the past. And so I think the point is, and my question actually was, if either of you know this, in any of your research, maybe Ibu, like, I don't even know how many users we have on Zora, but like, as we scale up, do these things level out? Like, I think that's maybe the question for me. Like, do over time, if we add in a few million people, like through the base app and do all that,
but at the same time, understand this. So if I go to Twitter and I pull up Balaji's account, he made a tweet on October 25th. It's got a video in it, got a short, couple of words. And that video got 400 likes, 60 comments, and 40 retweets. And he has 1.2 million followers. I know people that have 20,000 followers that get the same amount of likes, same amount of retweets, because their content's banger. You know what I mean? And so for Balaji's to be more valuable on Zora, just because people will trade it when the content is not near as banger as somebody else's. To me, it's allowing traders to value content. And Jesus Christ, if we've learned anything in Web3, it's probably not to let traders value anything. But that's what the market is. So it is what it is.
I'd like to give Ibu a chance to respond to some of that.
Yep,
I think
absolutely.
a lot said there.
So yeah, there was a lot said. First of all, I'll definitely agree that, like, doing the Zora method is maybe not the best method for every creator. Like, maybe if you're a painter, it's just better to try to go sell that painting direct, get that cash, and not take a photo of it and post it on Zora, hoping that people will run up buy it so many times that you get, like, you probably will not make what you make on fees from what you would make from selling it. So I'm definitely not going to sit here and try to say that, like, the Zora model or the creator capital markets model is the be all end all solution for everything. It's not.
Do you feel like this should be, do you feel like we should call this content markets instead of creator markets?
Well, yeah, sure. I mean, you can call it both, like, because there are the creators and the content. So it's just social markets, social media markets, or I don't know, whatever. Social-fi, that's what people call it. However, the other thing you're saying is the classic. I mean, it's just taste. Like, if you could think that something, you could think that the painter's or the photographer's post is worth more than the Balaji post. But that doesn't mean that's correct, though. Like, there is no correct answer. The market is just valuing Balaji higher for the reasons that, like you said, you use the Coinbase CTO. He's a big name in tech. Brian Armstrong shouted out his coin. That's the only, really, those are the main three reasons. And he made his Zora account very early. Those are the three reasons why his coin is still third, even though
not to interrupt, but I would add that probably the main reason above those three is the fact that he gets volume and they can make money off his token. Other tokens just don't have the volume.
He gets volume, I think, just because that one time Brian Armstrong shouted him out and that pumped his coin to 20 mil in like a day. And because he generated so many fees, it boosted up his liquidity pool. And that's why he's still up there. Like, it's, you know, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, who are we to say what's valuable and not? That's just our own opinion. The market is going to decide it. That's just one indicator of value, though. Not everything will be a content coin. It's definitely maybe not the best for everybody, but I think for a lot of creators, it's better than what they were doing so far. Like, when I was making music, you know, and I wouldn't necessarily be correct to say, why is no one listening to my music? It's definitely should be doing millions of streams right now. Like, I feel like that's kind of the same thing you're saying of this thing should be valued more than that thing. That's just a take. We can't really say if it's true or not.
I mean, we probably really could. Like, I mean, we probably really could. Like, I mean, you could run a simple survey on, is this a better post or is this a better post, and see what the public says. But you're probably not going to get the same answer as you get on Zora, because Zora is going to value it solely based on volume and trade value. Because that's just how the markets are going to value it on Zora. If you took the trade value away, they're going to value it different.
I think it's also speculation too, right? I mean, all of this. So let's talk about memes, just since we brought them up earlier. So meme coins, like, you can come up with a banger meme, come up with a really cool idea, and the way that it is valued by the market still is heavily impacted by speculation. Who's behind it? Is so-and-so going to do it? Are they going to list on that? Blah, blah, blah. So I do see both sides of this thing. And I think it's really interesting, but I want to see, you know, just, you know, when you do studies and you look at sample size, like, I just want to see what happens as we scale and as Zora grows. I'm wondering if some of these things do shake out, because if the thesis of creator and content coins is true, then that's how it should eventually get to the point where these things aren't so dynamic and, like, you know, black and white. Like, there should be a lot more level playing field, right? So I think right now we're seeing, to be fair, a number of people that are, I see you have the top 10 or so tokens up here. Mm-hmm. and I'm not going to throw shade at anybody up there, because they all are legit, but, like, there should be better content that comes over to Zora, right? Like, that's the goal. We want to see people that do stuff in Web 2 come over to Zora, and when they do, like, those tokens should shoot up even higher. Now, someone who makes, like, handmade artwork and does, there's always going to be this argument to both your points. Like, if someone is making beautiful artwork and doing all this, and, like, they're getting ignored, it's not right. But that's also still a problem outside.
Well, I think like, that I'm not worried about
garages all over the country that are full of someone's artwork that no one ever sees, and it's
and I don't think that's a fair way to say what I was trying to say, because a fair way to say what I was trying to say is very simple. Zora has been pushed and pushed and pushed for the last few months. It's every other tweet from Jesse as creator coins. It's been discussed by everybody now, like everybody. This is all public knowledge, so I'm not showing anything that you can't go on Zora and see yourself. You can see Docker has earned $168,000 in 3 months. Okay. That's fine. Great. Some of these have probably earned more. We scroll down to like, let's go to number 21. I don't even know who this is, but this is number 21.
You didn't scroll through it.
He's made $3,000 in 4 months. So you're telling me with all the push and all the strength and everything behind what's going into this, and everybody's ability to get on here, everybody's ability to content something, everybody's ability to create a coin, you're going to tell me that still a top 20 creator has only made $1,000 a month? Like, why would any creator outside of crypto want to come use this? Like, it would not be worth their time.
I mean, I don't know, because it's easy to post. Like it's just as easy as any other platform. It takes literally
it is, but you don't make money just by posting. You have to create these dynamic flywheels that can, do all this stuff. And that's my exact point. That's where my drawback to Creator Coins is. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm saying I don't think this is the final solution. I think there's a lot of evolution to happen. And I'm not saying Zora is a bad thing for what it is. I just think that a lot of the flack that Jesse and Zora and people catch about Creator Coins is super valid. And it should be discussed alongside all the good stuff. These problems should be discussed. Like, if I went to, let's just take a random artist. If I went to a random artist and said, hey, come grind on Zora, you can learn crypto and you can do all this stuff. And like in 4 months, you'll make, $3,000. You might be able to pay half your rent in 4 months. Like, that to me is not valid. I couldn't go to somebody and tell them that when there's much better avenues. And so my goal is, yes, let's bring creators to crypto. Let's make them understand why this is a better way. But you got to convince the people in crypto why this is a better way. And I think that there's a big gap in that right now. And that's why Zora catches so much flack and Jesse catches so much flack, is because they're not illustrating why it is such a good value. Whenever I go here and I look at the top creators, and like, number 3 is Balaji, CTO for Coinbase, former CTO. Number 4 is literally Jacob is literally the creator of Zora. Yep. Number 5 is Zora TV. Like, of course, these people are going to be up top, but because of that, they get all the trade volume. And so all these people down here who are creating, whether they're creating banger posts, whether they're painters, whether they're photographers, whether they're whatever, they're just not making enough money to make this valid, really. Unless they're just trying to earn $20 a month. But who wants the trouble of creating a coin for $20 a month? I mean, Coinbase just paid Kobe $400 million, and he doesn't even want to create a coin. You know what I mean? Like
400. It was like, it wasn't 400. It was 25 million.
No, he gave him 400.
Well, they bought his company too for $375 million.
If you include that, and then like 375 for the company. Let me hold on. Let's take a pause for a second, because I know we're kind of wrapping up soon, and I want to hear kind of. Obviously, Ibu, if you want to respond to some of what Render said, you're welcome to. But I also just want to hear, and this is a weird question, and I don't know if you have much of a response here, but I'm curious to know if you actually have, in all of your research and time, I know obviously, being as involved as you are, both as a token and as an investor with Docker and other creators, do you have feedback or like not necessarily or criticism of anything that you've seen on Zora? Are there things that you would like to see changed or different? I guess that would be my question.
Yes, for sure. So yes, I can tie my answer to that into the thing I wanted to reply to Render. So
yeah,
you're not wrong. You're not wrong to make the points you're making. They're valid. Let me also ask you this question. For a platform that, I don't know the exact numbers, but I think Zora probably has a couple hundred weekly active users. Couple hundred thousand. Sorry.
I was gonna say, if it's a couple hundred, man, we're
we're not a couple
early. Okay.
Couple hundred thousand. Like that on the scale of social media, it's really freaking small. I would be shocked if they had over 1 million weekly active users. For someone to be able to earn $3K on a platform that only has a couple 100,000 users is still really good, because Twitter has 500 million users and you need to be doing 10 million plus impressions per month to earn half of that. So it's definitely, the ratio is much better on Zora. It's definitely much higher. However, you're right that it's not, well, that this is where Docker comes in, because we also know that it's not trivial to just say to any person, any creator, just make a Zora and you're going to make money. Like, you kind of will, but you won't, though, because most of the money you make is going to be in your own creator coin, which you're not really, it's not great to sell. And I think teams, including possibly Zora, are working on solutions to that. And maybe even Docker will also be cooking up a potential solution to that.
Was that
We're trying to
that was alpha.
kind of alpha, but like, it's something that we also been talking about for a long, like, we're just trying to push that along. Like, how can creators exit? They get their own coin daily on Zora. How can they actually make money on that safely, effectively, healthily, whatever? So, but also the other thing is that I tell people now, like, especially the ones who are more kind of, they come from that more of a skeptical perspective, excuse me. Like, you don't need to use Zora to go pro. Just like you don't have to go pro on Instagram or TikTok. I use my Instagram, I just post stuff for my friends and family. I'm not grinding super heavy to try to break into the algorithm and like run up my views. The people trying to figure out those hacks for how to go viral on TikTok and Instagram Reels, how is that any different than people trying to figure out ways to boost up their page and grow on Zora? On Zora, they're just using different strategies, different playing field, different chess pieces, different pieces. You're not playing, not to be corny, but you're not playing chess. You're playing fucking, I don't know, checkers, or you're playing a backgammon. It's a completely different game because you have all these market caps and financialization aspects to it. Like, when people figured out on TikTok certain like viral sounds or video hacks, or like how to get people to watch their video 5 times, you know, how to hook people. These are all metas, which then became literally documented. And now there's even pages that are dedicated to how to hack TikTok and Instagram and go more viral. The same exact thing is happening on Zora. It's just a completely new type of game. So those who are up at the top are the ones who are figuring out strategies before others. And I think there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. The strategy is just a bit more financial and a bit more trading integrated than pure social hooking or stuff like that. So I think you have valid points, but also put it in the context of it's very small social media compared to other social medias. And the ingredients of Zora are different than the ingredients of IG. And no one's forcing you to try to go pro or go to the top 10 on Zora. It's cool if you can, but you don't have to. And you could just use it as a casual social media that you just do stuff on like every other social media.
Yeah, and I don't have like that's how I look at it.
Yeah.
Like, to be fair, for me personally, that's how I look at it. Is like, you know, we wouldn't have launched this live on Zora and our creator coin on Zora if I wasn't open-minded to give things a chance, you know, and try to understand and actually understand how they work and this and that. And so I guess my biggest you know, pushback, as far as, I fully agree, there's a lot of things I can use, there's a lot of things we can use, there's a lot of things, you know, different people can use in different ways. But Base in general and Coinbase have leaned so heavy into this. You would think it was the only social media on chain. You would think it was the most important, and you would think it was the end all solution, because that's just how hard they have pushed it.
I don't know. I feel like that's probably the case. And we're getting ready to watch this happen in real time. Like, in about, I would say probably 2-3 months, we could all get back on this stream and we're going to talk about how Zora basically is part of the Base app, which we probably won't even refer to as the Base app anymore. It's just Base. We're going to be like, hey, did you go on Base and like Did you see the stream from Quigs and Render where they, you know, blah, blah, blah. Like people are going to be using that app and Zora is going to be all baked into it. And so that's my thesis. I feel like, you know, we talked about this, I think yesterday, Render and I was like, maybe they'll buy it. Maybe they won't. I don't know. Who knows? But it's obviously going to be a huge deal, right? Like I think the bet on Zora is frankly a bet on the base app, because if the base app really does work the way they've designed it to work, and I think it's going to be pretty good, and it goes from 50,000 users right now on beta to multiple millions of people using that app, and then everybody on it can now create a coin that's tied to your Zora. Man, yeah. I think that's a freaking huge game changer, and that's why that's why some of my questions were more based on like, how does this look on a different scale? Do the people in the top 10, are they kind of grandfathered in, or are we going to be like, no, dude, because people are going to be coming in from all over the place. We're going to have TikTok, you know, influencers, Twitch influencers, people from other chains that are like, F it, I'm going in. And we're going to see a lot different, I think, environment. But how does that work for the first time creator? How does that work for that person that's like, hey, I want to put my art on chain? Is it going to go back to how what we went through in 2021 with NFTs, and like, do we end up in that same boat again where it's like we go through these like phases of supporting artists and then ignoring artists? And there's a lot, man, because you put trading in front of art and it's like, it's almost like the AI conversation. You put AI in front of art and now it's not the same anymore. Things are just so different. The things that people focus on and in value are just shifted so much. So there's a lot of questions that I think are going to be answered though in a few months when this thing goes from, you know, 50,000 people to a couple million.
Yeah. Let me share some thoughts. Like, so first of all, I agree. Like one thing is that very commonly artists, they revolt against financialization. Like they don't like money. A lot of artists really don't like when the money conversation gets brought up, and they almost have this, I personally consider it like a bit naive, or at the very least, very idealistic of like, I just want to make things. I don't want to care about the money. Like the money will come and the money will go. And like, that's dope and cool. But I think that's why like a lot of artists hate NFTs. Like being from New York City, I know many people in that artist scene that are just, they think NFTs are BS because of the way that it was the buy, invest was pushed on them so heavily. It was 4 years ago, but they still think of it that way. So that's fair enough, but it's also like, it's that attitude just keeps most people in poverty, besides a couple very, very extremely talented, skilled, or lucky artists who like, they might be able to maintain that attitude while having a team or something. Just, I don't know, someone buys their painting for $1 million anyway, and they don't really care. But for most artists, like it would be nice to have a little bit of like something passive income. I also think that Zora might be like, now they have everything as a coin, right? Where they used to have NFTs. I think actually they might benefit from having something in the middle where potentially an option to post something not as a coin, but as an NFT. And when people buy it, they are basically buying your creator coin directly from you. And then you can get paid directly. So like, let's not do the swaps. I'm going to post this pic. I'm going to value it at $500 worth of my creator coin. People can buy up to $500 of this. It's more NFT than coin. And that money goes directly to me. Maybe 5% of it goes to buying back my own chart or something. Like, I don't know if you want to feed it into that.
Render, do you like that idea? Sorry, I just want to hear his thoughts because he's an NFT guy. You like that idea?
Hold on. Let me continue. Okay,
sorry. All right. Let you finish.
Yeah. Let me. So the other thing is like with Docker, we also, that's why I think Docker has gotten momentum, because we get it that it is complicated. You can start and create a Zora page easily, but if you really want to just like this stream, right? We're going to have this stream. You guys are probably going to take some clips, throw them up on X to growth hack it, right? That's one of the modern day top tier strategies. If you do a podcast or a stream, you take the clip 1 or 2 minutes, throw it up, and it goes much further than your actual stream. Those strategies, there are strategies similar to that on Zora, which we are trying to educate people on how to learn and how to get familiar with so they can grow their pages better. And also, the reason that people can have 1 million followers plus on Instagram or TikTok, and we've seen it a couple times, and they come on Zora and like their page will do okay, but it's not blowing people out of the water. It's not shooting up to number one immediately, is because one, the fans of that person, the fan base was built on just getting the content for free. So they don't have they really don't see much reason to go to Zora and consume the same content and then try to pay for it. Like they just don't get it. I think actually Zora will create its own creators that will build their audiences from the ground up with that system. And the ones who come from other platforms that will do well will be the ones that lean in and aren't afraid or ashamed to bring that crypto aspect to their communities and be like, guys, like this is crypto, but it's not what you think. Like this is actually going to be cool and I'm going to do some cool shit with it or whatever. The ones who lean in more will definitely do a lot better because they'll appeal to not only they'll bring some of their fans over and they'll appeal to the crypto natives who will have the dedication to trade their coin and really run it up. Right. So I think people to be successful on Zora at this moment, you do need to be aware of the trader mindset. You do need to be like, that is what a lot of the audience is, but those are not just traders. They are also consumers of art and content, and they have things that they like and they don't like. And that's why they, buy and sell the things that they want to do. So I think like it's still super early. The app is also extremely primitive compared to other social media apps. I mean, they don't even have messaging yet. Like they're probably about to add it. They don't even have a DM feature. They literally just added like videos, like vertical video, like 2 months ago. They only had like pictures, and the whole content coin, creator coin thing was literally invented in like April. Like they came out with, it was all NFT. It's not even been 6 months. So I feel like we do have to be, the growth that it's seen in 6 months has been pretty crazy. Like by far, in my opinion, it's way better than every other crypto social app. Like way better. It's way better than Farcaster too, in my opinion. I'm sorry. I know we got a lot of Farcaster.
Whoa. No. I'm just kidding.
But Farcaster, Zora is just more fun than Farcaster, in my opinion. And so I think Zora is just going to keep it. There's not even any big name celebrities on it either yet. No athletes, really. No big musicians. No big actors. No big people from tech besides Balaji. Like literally, there's almost no one on it. So like, if we give it another 6 months, they get some bigger names on it, drop more features, improve things, streamline, blah 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 blah. I think a lot of and people continue to try to discover strategies like we do at Docker. We try to like think of strategies of how to grow and like help other people grow, and other people will start to do that too. So I think it's just gonna keep growing. Like I really don't see any reason why it would stop growing at this point.
I just have one more question, but I don't know, Render, did you want to respond to anything before I ask my question? I have one last question. And then
I'll respond to one thing. And that was at the beginning of what you just said about, I'm kind of a mix of everything. So I'm not just an artist. I'm not just a trader, and I am pretty successful in life. So, like I'm lucky and I feel like I understand a lot of things really well. You said a lot of artists are kind of have a poverty mindset because they don't want to.
No. I didn't. I just said they reject they reject the capitalistic side of.
Actually, I would say that's probably a misnomer because we've always heard, the term starving artist, like it's a common term.
Yeah.
But if you want to look at the facts, and here's why I don't like the financialization of this is, do you know what percentage of traders actually make money?
Traders of what?
Of anything, any financial traders, you know what percentage actually make money? It's
Probably like
estimated to be less than 1% of all traders actually make money.
yeah.
Do you know 10% of all visual artists make over 100,000 a year? So it's to me,
You took it personal. When you
Finan-
took it personal, he's like,
financialized.
"You're calling us poverty." Yo, come
No,
on.
I'm just saying everything doesn't have to be financialized. And so it's not a matter of hating the financialization of it. It's just some things just don't need financialized. And for me, content just doesn't need financialized to that extent. So we disagree on that, and that's cool. That's a good thing about being our own people is we can disagree and still leave here dear friends.
Of course. No, I get it. At first, I really didn't like the coin everything thing either. I was like, this is way too overwhelming. I was also just feeling tired, burnt out from meme coin mania for like a year and a half straight. And I was just like, bro, now they're going to drop like, I'd been on Zora before in the NFT days. And like, I was like, now they're going to make meme coins, everything. Oh, this is stupid. Like, this is lame. But then I came around over time, and I started to at least I'm like, I'm okay with most posts and most creators on Zora being worth pretty much nothing. Like
Right.
most things are worth they're to the market, they're worth nothing. To ourselves, they're worth a lot. Personally, emotionally, that's completely different. What other people value it at might be nothing, and that's okay. Like most things will be zero, but maybe there will be, like, I think we have yet to see the first real viral post on Zora, right? We had the horse image, but beyond that, like, and that was from the founder, but like beyond that, who's going to have that first pop off post on Zora that like goes crazy? We haven't even seen it yet. So I'm really looking forward to whatever that might be. And I think that might, whatever it is, or the first couple big posts, viral posts that make the creator a lot of money, and like they do a lot. I don't know who would be, but those will be interesting to see. Like it'll give us some light. So yeah, I agree with you. It's so early. Like I can definitely understand the skepticism. Definitely.
Can I ask my last question?
Oh,
yeah.
No.
Yeah, this is a real loaded question, man. This one's going to catch you real off guard, I think. No, actually, I think a lot of people listening, especially if they're either already on Zora or in the process of considering Zora, what is your, and I guess the team's sort of criteria? Like, what are you guys looking for in tokens? Like when you're selecting, and obviously there's some kind of no-brainers that you select, but like what is your thesis on like selecting tokens to add to the Docker treasury? Boy, that's a good one, right?
It's hard to describe because we buy stuff based on completely different reasons. Like every time, sometimes it's we just see the page and it's cool. I like investing in Zora or in creator coins on Zora and content because it's really fun. Like it's very dynamic. It has a lot more nuance than, it just has different elements that you can get in other trading venues. Like you're not just trading the coin or the meme coin just for the virality of it or the meme of it, but it's like a taste thing. Like you see the creator and you're like, oh, it's definitely undervalued. Like, oh, this should get more eyes. Like this should get more eyeballs. Like your guys' coin was like 60K. And then I told the team, I was like, guys, I'm about to go on the stream. We took a look at it. It was like, yeah, like probably undervalued. It's only 60K. Other streamer coins on the platform are hundreds of Ks. So why wouldn't these guys also? I mean, they're good. They're dedicated. They're in the base eco. So it's like, not only does it tie to your content in the stream, but we also can look a layer back on who are the people behind it. What reputation do they have? And like, that's another reason why I think creator coins are much better than meme coins in one way, where it's far less ruggable, because like if you have to verify your creator coin with your other social media profiles, and if you have any reputation at all, then you start dumping your coin or rugging it or messing with it, or like, people will react to that right away, and they'll be like, I don't like that. So It's not like, let me just spin up an anonymous new meme coin, run it up to a couple mil, and then rug, and then do it again and again. Like, you really can't do that with creator coins. You're more incentivized to actually sustain a higher market cap for longer, because it will make the amount of your own token that you get worth more. So it's like, it is a long-term type game. It's designed for that. So we invest in, like, sometimes it's just the taste. We like their creator. Sometimes we kind of maybe see a trend going their way. Maybe for another reason, it's like their chart just looks good, or like it's on a big dip, and we're like, okay, we liked them before, but it was like already ripping. Now it's like, down in the dumps. So we're going to scoop here. And there's just a lot of cool factors, I would say. And also, like, dedication, the people who try to keep showing up and like posting and, I don't know, engaging in those conversations, we found that they definitely get a lot more attention from not just us, but like other investors and traders on Zora as well. Like, if you're constantly getting in those conversations about CCM, Zora, Base App, Barcaster, whatever, like that whole orbit of topics, and you have a Zora creator coin, and then maybe you're also trying to do something interesting with your stuff as well, then it becomes interesting to us. Like one guy, Average Joe's Crypto, he decided to do this thing where he makes a trade on FOMO, which is like a trading app. And he's like, okay, for these first two, I'm going to post all my trades on my Zora. He works for Masari. He goes, I'm going to post all my trades that I do on FOMO, screenshot it, and post it on Zora. And for the first two, I'm going to try something where all the profits I make, I'm going to go and buy and burn the content coin that was like associated with the screenshot, right? So one of his first ones was on, like, what was it called? Like Playcade or something. It was like something like Playcade. Yeah. Solana, he ended up like making 30K off of, like, I don't know, not that much, money. And now people, are realizing, wait, because also another thing on Zora is, like, the better your content coins do, it feeds and it makes your creator coin do better. We can get into the details, but I won't right now. But like, you better your content does, your creator coin juices from that. Right. So now that one post of his had pumped up like crazy, like, because people were like, yo, he's 30K in profit. He's going to take that 30K, buy and burn this coin, which is super low market cap. So 30K buy on, like, what is the coin right now? I don't even, like, hold on. Let me look at this. A 30K buy on a coin that's worth 80K is going to absolutely send it. So people are like anticipating that and pricing it in already. Right. That's pretty cool. So he actually airdropped us his coin, but we still invest in him because, he hits those, a couple of those criteria. He talks about it on Twitter. He's bullish. He engages in the conversation. He's trying some interesting things with his coin. He brings his own trading content, which is pretty unique on the platform. Not that many people are doing it. He just got something about him. So, like, every page is different. That's why it's really fun to invest in Zora creators.
I knew that was going to be one of those questions that was hard to totally answer, because there can't be just one criteria or like one way to gauge it. But it was just interesting. It was just interesting watching. I've been watching, obviously, and seeing the different tokens you guys are hopping into, and it's interesting. So Render, you ruined it for us, man, because he said you had to be bullish.
God, fuck. There we go. No. Hold for us.
Honestly, most interviews and streams I've done so far about Docker, it's like everyone's super bullish, and that's dope. But I also really enjoyed having someone who's more skeptical and trying to trying to address their points. So
yeah, I refute. That's kind of, when and Quigley knows me, and so he knows that, whatever. But
you should hear our conversations.
Part of us doing this was, I told Quigley, I said, look, this is not a pay for play scenario. People cannot pay to come on. They can't sponsor the stream to come on, because I'm going to tell them what I think about whatever they're doing. Like, if I like it or if I don't like it, I don't have to just be a dick, but I'm going to tell the truth about how I feel about it. And
I thought it was great, man.
Yeah. So I appreciate you being a good sport, and
to be fair, though,
your opinion and everything else.
I mean,
Appreciate it.
render represents. Who knows? Maybe it's even larger than like me. So I'm pretty bullish on the concept of creator coins. I agree that there's a lot of room for like adjustments, improvements. But I think that there is a lot of potential here.
Well,
that-
we're even like we've never told anybody, and I guess they'll find out beginning of next year sometime. But we're even working on something related to ICMs that's I think is you know, a very unique way to approach it. And again, it's because I believe that Zora may not be one size fits all. It may be good for certain things, but there's other things that are being overlooked. And so I think this, you know, the thing we're working on may even tap into a lot of that. So I think there's a lot of solutions here. I think that not everything's for everybody. Some things will work better for others. And until the ecosystem has something for everybody, you can't get everybody here.
yeah.
I agree. And it's still pretty freaking early, so I can understand it definitely doesn't have everything for everybody.
Sure.
It's not Facebook. It's
Yeah.
not Facebook.
Absolutely.
At
But
all.
Ibu, it's nice to meet you, and I appreciate you coming on. Quigley, you got any closing statements today?
Not really, man. I guess just thanks for being our first guest on Full Spectrum.
Yeah.
Hopefully we gave you sort of both sides of the spectrum from our side. I mean, we have a pretty different opinion on creator coins.
Yeah.
It's taken me what'd you say, this 3 months or so, I think, just to get him to this point. To Render can have this type of conversation, because it started out a lot rougher. So we've come a long way, and so I appreciate you taking the time and coming on and and honestly, man, like my favorite thing about, I came from like more of a spaces background, over the years. I love getting people who are behind all these products just to come on and be real with us and just talk about your background and what you're about and who you are. And I think that's, I don't know, for me, hopefully for a lot of our audience, this is what it's all about for me. Like just getting people to be real with us and like, hey, we're all a work in progress in life. We all are on this journey together of like taking this crazy shit. Like we all agreed, I think in the beginning, like how hard is this to talk about with our parents? How hard is this to talk about with even our friends, that aren't in crypto? And so when we get in a conversation, we have different sort of views on these things. The way that we talk through it is super important for them to hear, I think, and just say, okay, like these guys are thinking through it. They're not all just like cheerleaders, and like, hey, go buy this, go buy that. So I think it's a great conversation. I'm glad that we had a chance to get to know you a little better tonight. I know we met in person in San Francisco over dinner, and it was a pleasure meeting you in person. It's also great to kind of get to know you a little more tonight.
Thank you. You too, guys. Thank you so much. It was a great convo. Really enjoyed it.
All right, guys. Well, we appreciate it. Appreciate everybody tuning in, and appreciate our sponsor, Football.Fun, and we'll catch you next week.
All right.